I'm going to be recording a bunch of tips on my run today while I'm down in Whanganui. I reckon it's a underrated gem in New Zealand. There's a lot of cool places to see, so there'll be some nice scenery in the background. So let's see how this goes. First step, you've decided you're going to go running, you lace on your shoes, you go out the door, you run to the end of the block and back, you run around the block, whatever you're going to do. Lots of people do that and they look at their watch and go, great, that took 5 minutes or 10 minutes or whatever. That is now my benchmark. Next time I go running, I'm going to run further than that or faster than that, and otherwise I have failed running, or at least I'm not progressing forward. And that is a terrible, terrible way to go. Every day that you go running is going to be different. You're going to have different sleep, you're going to have different food, the weather's going to be different. Sometimes it just sucks, sometimes it feels really easy. And if you try every time you go out running to do better than the last time, it is just a massive recipe for injury and for burnout. So yeah, first thing, whatever you do on that first run, that is not a benchmark. I kept waiting for the scenic bit of this road, but I think this is what we're gonna get. Like, there are good sights in Whanganui, but sometimes there's roads to get there. Next tip, go slow. This one, I cannot emphasize enough, go slow. That should mean when you're starting, even later on, that you are running and walking. When you go out for a run, it is completely fine to run and walk that run. You should be able to hold a nice, easy conversation. So when you go slower, body's using way more fat for fuel, which is a lot better for that. It's good because it trains your body to lose fat for fuel, which builds up your sustainability a lot more, so you can run further. It reduces the chance of injuries. There's been whole books written on this. As soon as you feel your heart rate creeping up, as soon as you start feeling like you're gasping, you're running out of breath, stop and walk. If you come back from all your workouts feeling awful and like you've just left everything out there, that is not going to inspire you to go out and do more of them, because it's pretty hard to keep the mindset up to go out and do that. Whereas if you know that you're going to go out, you're going to run a bit, you're going to walk a bit, you're going to get around the block, get home, have this nice glow that you did some exercise for the day, way better. Consistency. You're gonna start running. The biggest thing is to be running. You've got to set a time and get out of the house. And one of the easiest pitfalls is to be like, I'm gonna run 2 times a week or 3 times a week, and then I'll just pick those days as I go, depending on what the week fills up with. And then you put it off, and then you put it off, and then you're like, I can get both my runs done on the weekend. And then the weekend comes and you miss Saturday and you're like, well, this plan's never going to work. So you've got to, pick your days, and hell or high water, you stick with them. If it's, raining or miserable, if you don't feel like it, even if you only get out of the house for 5 minutes when you were expecting to be out for 15 to 20, that you're keeping those times and making sure that you just get out and do it. Next step. Following on from consistency, record your run somewhere. I know most people have exercise apps that automatically tracks them or something, but having like that, going and writing them down with pen and paper, I do it in a Google Doc, and the big thing is you want to color code that. You want a traffic light. Was the run great? Did you feel amazing? Green. Was it average but you got it done? Orange. Was it terrible and you suffered through it or didn't even complete the whole thing? Red. If I look back over my training and there's a giant week where every workout is red or orange, then something isn't right with my training. I am pushing it too hard, I'm not getting enough rest, I need to ease off, I need some more recovery days. Very basic, traffic light, what your runs were, and so you can look back, and provides a bit of mindfulness with your exercise. I did this is how I felt. It helps you remember later. Right, gear. So you do want good shoes, because if you have the same running shoes that you've been trying to use for a long time and haven't changed them, then the rubber could be completely gone. You're going to screw your knees over. You do not need to go and get a bunch of fancy stuff. My general rule with gear is that I get the cheapest thing that I possibly can to get the job done. I'm still doing the activity months later, or I find that I'm really using the thing, then I upgrade it. Stairs. Ugh. It's a bit windy up here, but the view's worth it, so I'll give it a shot. So, next tip, do not get injured. And that's part of, don't go out too hard, keep consistent, all that stuff to build up strength in your body. Work out, and it does take some time to work out when you've got twinges in your feet, if that is just your brain saying please stop, or if it's something that you actually need to probably stop. But be cautious at first. There's nothing worse than having this big plan to get started, get into running. You go out too hard, do it too much, injure yourself, and then you can't run for a period of weeks, and the momentum's just completely gone. And that was how I started running, is to continually injure myself over and over again. I don't think it's a very good plan. It definitely makes it a lot harder than it has to be. Alright, half marathon done. After caramel slice. Thank you, mother-in-law. Best thing about Whanganui. Next thing that is great to do if you're starting out running is look at events near you. There's nothing quite as motivating as knowing that you've got an event coming up that you really need to train for. And up in Northland, they have a ridiculous race where everyone gets assigned a miniature pony, and it's a multi-stage race down a beach, and you have to run with your pony and then look after your pony each night. Like, there's just ridiculous races out there. There's trail races, there's road races, there's all kinds of things. But sign up for one. I read in a book, if you're 51% sure that you can do it, then just go for it, because that's about as good as it's going to get. Next tip, look to join a running group. The big thing, it can be nerve-wracking if you're starting out to think, it might be too slow, or people might, they'll be racing during the whole thing, or, I'm going to go there and want to run and walk or do a shorter course or whatever. That's completely fine. Have a look around at, what running groups are in your local area, because there's always some out there, and yeah, it's a really good way to have one time a week where you definitely know you're going to go and get some exercise done and meet some people. Next tip, recovery just as important as running. Recovery is a massive deal. That's actually when your body gets fitter, is not when you're out doing the run, but when your body's repairing itself afterwards. If you don't give your body the chance to repair, then you just continually wear it down, don't get any better. So make sure that recovery is part of your running plan. 33k in, back to town. Final tip as I close in on 44k in the end of my run, and that's to make sure that you finish still with some gas in the tank. You do not want to be finishing completely spent, gasping, not able to do anything. I mean, don't get me wrong, I am ready for a rest, but if I really had to, I could still go out and do a bit more exercise, and that way I don't get home feeling awful about my run, and it means that I've kept it light enough that I'm doing all the right things. So yeah, don't go out too hard, don't leave it all out on the track, have some gas. Do you have any top tips? Have I missed things? Do you want to know more about any of the things that I mentioned? Then let me know, because getting comments is very exciting. And that's it. Yay!